As always, remember to like and subscribe, and if you have any comments down below about future videos, by all means leave them. Today we're going through MLA formatting for quotes and quoting. We're going to start with the works cited portion of our quotes. So we have here on our Google Docs, we have in the top right hand corner, we have our last name. We went up here to insert. We found the page number, and that's how we got up here. We have in our top left, we have our heading. Our heading has our student name, our professor name, our class, and our date in that order. And then centered right here, we have our super wicked awesome title, and we have our subtitle after that. Again, subtitles completely optional. Notice that the whole thing, not the header, but everything else is double spaced. So we went and found our quote, and here is our quote for our purposes. Our quote is, "At certain moments in our brief existences, we are faced with great trials. Often, those trials are frustrating, unfortunate, or unfair. They seem to come exactly when we think we need them the least. The question is, do we accept this as an exclusively negative event, or can we get past whatever negativity or adversity it represents and mount an offensive? Or, more precisely, can we see that this is a problem, presents an opportunity for a solution that we've been long been waiting for? If you don't take that, it's on you." And again, this quote comes from The Obstacle is the Way, The Timeless Art of Turning Trials into Triumph by Ryan Holiday. I highly recommend this book. I'm reading it right now. I'm almost finished with it actually, but I highly recommend that. Before we get to anything else with the quoting, notice that this highlighted portion right here, this is a quote within the longer quote. Anytime we have quotes within the longer quotes, in American English at least, we start our quote with the double quotation marks, and then quotes within the quotes have single quotation marks around them. So we have our quote. This is what we're going to be using. So we want to make sure we have the works cited properly done. So we're going to scroll down. All this information comes from the Purdue OWL MLA page. You can definitely check out your MLA handbook. The current book is the 8th edition. Both of them have this exact same information in it. So here's a link to this. I'll include that in the description below. But the 9 things that we're looking for are the author, the title of the source, the title of the container, other contributors, version, number, publisher, publication date, and location. Before I go through and explain all those things, notice that after these 3, the author, the title of the source, and the location, we have periods. That's why they're highlighted like this, so you can see that there's a period there. Everything else has a comma after it. And again, these are the 9 things that we're looking for. Author is pretty self-explanatory. Title of source could be the title of an article, a short story, a web page, a song, a TV episode, anything short form like that, titles of poems themselves. Anything longer will be the title of the container. So you have the title of the magazine, the book, the website itself, an album, a TV show, whatever that might be. Other contributors, usually translators or editors, anything like that. The version, any edition, any translation. A very common version of the version would be the Bible version, usually like King James Bible. Those would be the different types of versions that we're looking there. A number would be the volume or the number in the series. Publisher, straightforward. Publication date, straightforward. And the location. For our purposes, usually it's going to be the URL, but there might be page numbers. It could be a DOI number. It could be all sorts of number of things. Again, all you're looking for here is the most amount of information that you can give to your reader so that he or she can go find the information that you're providing in your quotes later on the Works Cited page. Now we scroll down, and here's the information that we have for this particular quote. We have the author up here, Ryan Holiday. We have the title of the source, The Obstacle is the Way. We don't have a container. We don't have contributors, versions, numbers. We don't have any of this stuff. Because we don't have anything, we skip it. So we don't put a blank, we don't put a placeholder or anything like that. We just skip it and move on to the next thing. We have a publisher, we have our publication date, and we have our location. So let's see what that looks like on the Works Cited page. So here's our Works Cited. Again, you'll notice that the header's continuing on because we put the page numbers up here and not just the number 1. So they continue on in the series. Works Cited is the title, centered, just like our normal title above. And then here's all the information. I'm not going to read through all this, but here's the information, everything you possibly need when it comes to your MLA citations. And then at least for a book form, this is what we're looking for. Last name, comma, first name, period. Title of the book, period. The title of the book itself is in italics. We have a publisher, publication date, and then our page number. So if we scroll back up, we find the information, and then we start translating it down here. Last name, comma, first name, Holiday, comma, Ryan. We have the title of the book, and I'm going to copy and paste that because that's way easier. Make sure that we have the period at the end of it, and then again, make sure that our title of our book is in italics. Italics is this I right up here. After that, we're going to have the publisher. Again, copy and paste. Publication date and page number. I think that's right. Yep, page 120. Okay, so for this, if we had more than one page, it would have PP, and then we have page number 120 to 122 or whatever else it might be. But since we just have one page, it is just P, period, 120, period at the very, very end. And that's the end of our Works Cited. So let me put an extra space in there. Here's what our Works Cited would look like for this. Next, we need to format the quotes themselves in the text. So here we are back in the Google Docs. We still have the same information up here. And then we start embedding the quotes however we need to. So most of the time, we'll just use a small portion of the quote to help support our argument. When doing that, we need to embed the quote with our own words in order to frame it for our reader. If we don't embed the quote, or if we begin a sentence with a quote, a reader has no idea how to read the quote, and every quote we use needs to somehow, some way, support our overall argument or thesis. I know that these rules, just like general, quote, great trials, end quote, can seem frustrating, unfortunate, or unfair, end quote. And at the end of our quote, notice that we have our citation right here. Our citation is literally just our author's last name, if we have an author, space, page number, if we have a page number. If we do not have an author, then we would use the next thing in line from our Works Cited. Remember, our Works Cited would be last name, comma, first name, and then it would be the title. So if we didn't have an author, we would go directly to the title. If we do not have a page number, we do here, but if we did not have a page number, we would skip it, and it would just be author's last name. But since we do, we have our page number in there. Notice that the period goes after it. Notice that there is no P, PG, or anything like that, no commas in between. It's just author's last name, space, page number. And it gets even more tedious since after every quote we use, we need to have commentary in our own words that explains the quote in terms of our argument. But keep in mind that quotes are just there to help you prove whatever point you're making. In case we wanted to do a block quote, which is a longer quote, we need to set it up correctly. The proper way to do that is with a sentence that ends in a colon, and then here's our quote right here. I'm not going to read that again. And the end, we have our period and then our citation after that. And after any block quote, we need to have commentary explaining the quote above. For starters, notice that the block quote does not have any quotation marks. No quotation marks here, no quotation marks to begin. And that the period goes before the citation. Earlier, when we did the in-text citation up here, we have our sentence ends, our quote ends, we start our citation, and then we have our period. For block quote, it's the exact opposite of that, where we have a period and then we have our citation right there. This is different than it is for the quotes that we embed into the text itself. The whole quote is also indented 0.5 inches, or the tab button once from the left. You'll see everything over here. Here's our left alignment right here, left alignment right here. Normal paragraphs are indented 1/2 inch. Our block quote itself is indented 1/2 inch as well. And if we have multiple paragraphs like we do above, the paragraph first line is indented another 0.5 inches from the left for 1 inch total from the left. So right here, here's our left alignment, here's our 1/2 inch alignment for our whole paragraph, and then the first lines of our paragraphs in the block quote itself are indented another 1/2 inch, or a total of 1 inch from here to the left alignment. Finally, MLA specifies that quotes 4 lines or longer need to be set up as block quotes. Anything shorter than that, you're embedding the quotes just like we did above. Now a few final reminders. Make sure you have a citation every time you cite any information. It could be a quote, it could be stats, it could be information, it could be a graph or a picture, anything like that. Anything you take from a source needs to have a citation. You can cite with the parenthetical citation we went over earlier, or by making reference to the author's last name in the sentence itself, as in when you're doing the embedding of the quote, you could say the author so-and-so stated that, and then you can get into your quote from there. That'd be a great way to do that and changing it up. That way you're not just putting citations at the end of everyone. And every source used in the essay itself needs to go on the Works Cited. Doesn't matter if it's just one word that you quoted, doesn't matter if it's just one image or one stat. Anytime you use anything at all, it needs to go on the Works Cited. Other than that, make sure you like and subscribe. If you have any comments about this video, put them down below. Also comment down below if you have any requests for future videos. And other than that, have a lovely day.